Okay. Hey, so welcome back to the channel. Hey, I'm with Tyree Hicks. Tyree, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. About you?
I'm doing outstanding, brother. Um, I'm sorry that it took so long for us to get together. I was on vacation when you emailed me the first time, so um, I'm glad you were able to make some time and we can answer all your questions. So, how did you? So, are you thinking about getting into cleaning business, or are you already in the cleaning business?
Yeah, I had bought into the franchise I think like 2019, but I never did anything with it because
Oh,
I didn't I didn't do my homework all the way. So when I went to the meeting and I kind of got like intimidated because it's like everybody seemed more polished than me, and they coming in with money and everything. So I'm like, man, I don't know, but I just want to, be able to just get it off the ground, man. Really, just get it off
yeah.
the ground, get it up and running.
Okay. What city are you out of?
Detroit.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
another person up there in Michigan that she was building a Jam Pro up there as well. Um, yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, everything happens in due time, man. This is your season to get started. So the biggest thing is to just take that one step forward, you know. Don't be intimidated because all of us are on a learning curve, you know.
Mhm.
I didn't know a lot about the business until I got started in the business. So don't be intimidated by that. You know, they may look well polished, but you may have more tenacity and more grit and hunger to build your
Mhm.
business. So yeah, don't let that stuff bother you, man. It's not a race. You know, you
Mhm.
build your business at your own pace, you know.
Yeah, it was right after I bought into the business, I said like a couple months passed, I stopped doing it. Then I came across your channel with you and your wife. I'm like, man, he started just like how I started. So it gave me a little more, confidence, but it was just like, I never, never jumped out there with it, but I just wanted to, be able to pick your brain, man, because I see, one, you're a black man like me, so I got to take some game where I can get it. But my main question I wanted to know is how is the market looking right now with everything going on with the tariffs and Trump doing all this crazy stuff right now? Is it still worth getting into Jam Pro, or are certain contracts slowing down because of people not working like that?
Well, I can only speak for my market. My market, so the cleaning business itself is like a recession proof business. It's like a recession proof
Mm,
industry. You know,
okay.
uh, these corporations, one thing they can't cut out, is the cleaning because they're not going to clean their facilities themselves. You know,
Mm,
so it's pretty much like recession proof. Now you may have some markets that their business may be suffering to where they have to downsize and close shop or change facilities or of that aspect, then yeah, you could be hurt on that end. But to say that we're just going to eliminate cleaning altogether and we're going to do it, you very rarely hear those companies doing things like that, you know, because like I said, we're in a market that our service, even like when COVID was going on, the essential workers were working, so we were still working.
mm,
Everybody else was housed, but we were growing. So
okay.
so when you look at the industry, the cleaning business industry, there's growth in that because as an industry altogether, the only way we could go out of business is if the company goes out of business, or if we just not
Mm,
doing a good job as far as our managing our business. But to answer your question, no, this industry is a pretty stable industry. Now you will
okay.
you those smaller accounts. smaller accounts, yeah, you may lose some of those because they don't have the finances to continue with cleaning. Yeah, you may lose that, but the major companies and stuff like that that we do business with, that it's still business as usual because they're not going to eliminate. They'll cut the fat. They'll eliminate employees before they eliminate the cleaning service.
Okay. All right, that give me some confidence right there. Let's see, what's one of my other questions? Okay, like you said, when COVID hit, I was still part of the essential workers too, because I work in apartment maintenance. So I wanted to know, like, how would I? Because I want to get into like cleaning the apartments that I worked at, because a lot of seniors, I worked at a lot of senior buildings. So I wanted to know, like, how would I market that with them, and make it profitable for myself? I had to do like charge by the square inch still, or how would I go about doing that?
Let me ask you this: Are you like a contractor? Is that what you do? Are you contracted to go into these facilities, or
No,
are
I'm
you
a
on their
maintenance tech.
payroll?
Yeah, on the payroll.
So you're on their payroll.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if it would be a conflict of interest if they would want you to actually do the cleaning service. I couldn't tell you that. Um, but if you're with Jan Pro, you may want to get with your operations specialist and say, hey, if your company is in need of cleaning, then you
Mm.
may want to let Jan Pro know, hey, my building is looking to have a cleaning contract. They're looking for someone to clean the facility. That way, you will be the inside guy for that contract. Um,
Okay.
that is a good way to get contracts, especially if you know of facilities that are in need of cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta like here. See, like I do more cleaning here than actually maintaining, because they got like a cleaning company, but I guess they too busy. They don't come out like they usually do. So I
Mm.
clean like Monday through Friday. They get here and then everything be done already. So I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
so
I think
that's a
about
good
that.
way. You should be I would, especially if you're in good with your building maintenance, you know, that's
Mm,
something that you could parlay into doing as for yourself. If they already know that you're cleaning the building anyway.
mm,
There's no reason to even have a cleaning service if you're doing 90% of the work, 95% of the work anyway.
yeah, yeah. I'm doing majority of the whole building, man.
Yeah.
Then I got one other question, man. When I first started in Jam Pro, the hardest part was like getting people to come on board with me, because they like, well, I help you clean whatever. How much you gonna pay? I was like, you're gonna really be building with me, man. So I can give you some equity. And they like, equity, people want money now. So I was like, I wanted to know like, what was the pros and cons of hiring employees versus going like a subcontractor route. Like, could you
Um, it's so subcontracting, if you're doing subcontracting, they already know how to clean. They already have cleaning businesses and stuff for themselves, and all you're doing is just subbing the contract to them and you're just managing, the facility.
mm,
Employees, when you ready to take on employees, they go by, you know, you train them and you put them to work. That's the difference. That's the only difference in that. Um,
okay.
so it just depends on your business. It depends on how you building your business. You know, if you
All
want
right.
if you want to take on some if you want some professional contractors to be in there, that's totally up to you. Um, what I normally do, I don't go per se that route. I do have experienced people that work for like the school district, cleaning in the school district. That's what predominantly look for. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like I said, it's up to you of how you do things. I don't, yeah, everybody does something different. So I don't want to train nobody that never had cleaned the building before
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna come into a lot of issues. Now I've had people we went out there and placed ads and hired some people that said that I clean my house. Well, your house cleaning a house is not the same as a commercial cleaner, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the headaches that you run into when you're picking up people that don't have quite the experience. So when you're looking for people to clean on your behalf, just look for that. Just keep that in mind. How much cleaning experience do you have? And what industry, what market were you cleaning in? You know, those are the biggest things. Try to find some people that work for the school board. They clean very well. Um, 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 that's our biggest niche. We look for people that actually um, worked through cleaning companies and did the same thing we were doing. We find people that way. So those are the industries. Um, we find people that have retired from cleaning the school district, and they just looking to supplement their income. We find people that way. So, like I said, it's different avenues, but if you're finding somebody that's brand new, they just want to do some part time, say for instance, they don't know anything about cleaning, but they just want part time work, then you're going to run the risk of them walking off the job,
Mm-hmm.
or not showing up, and you don't want that headache.
Okay. And what's some beginner mistakes, man, that you made that you could let me know, what to look out for coming into, the Jam Pro, the whole ordeal.
Um, Beginner mistakes, man. That's been like 8 years ago. Um, I know one time we had a contract that we gave back to Jam Pro before we found out we could sell our contracts to other CBOs, to other franchise owners.
Mm,
So that was one of the mistakes that we made. We should have kept it and sold it, but we gave it back to Jam Pro. Um, so the money that we invested in that contract, we didn't get any gain off of it because we gave it back versus selling it back off and recouping our money that we paid into it.
okay.
So that was the biggest beginner mistakes. Um, a lot of stuff, like I said, it's not rocket science with this cleaning industry. It's really not rocket science. So the I will say communication, not being able to communicate with the clients when we first started was a big beginner mistake. We didn't value that portion of the business as far as communication. Um, but we began to understand how important communication is. 90% of the business. Communicating with your client is pretty much 90% of the business because, like I stated in a lot of my videos, you're going to get complaints. It's just
Mm,
how do you deal with the issues? How do you take care of the issues is going to be what makes you more of a asset to the client versus you being a liability to them. So if anything you take from this is make sure that you master the communication aspect with your clients. Make sure that you're engaged. Make sure that you go out and see how things are running. Make sure that you ask important questions. Hey, what kind of issues and concerns are you having with with my team or with myself? you know those are going to be the biggest things that's going to help you succeed. you know get some feedback to, hey, how's everything going? What can we improve on, good or bad? So those
okay.
things are going to help you.
All right. And I think my last question, where's that? How you feel about using the robot vacuums?
What do you mean robot vac? Oh, it's about the
You
ones
know the
that do
vac.
itself. The
Yeah, yeah.
we haven't we haven't had any I will say this. Our buildings, our facilities, a lot of things the robots can't get to because we deal with a lot of office buildings that have a lot of cubicles and things like that. So
Mm,
although those robots make it easier for you, but they're not efficient. The
mm,
biggest thing with vacuuming and stuff is like trying to get into corners. So a robot vac is probably going to be harder for them to get into those corners and vac. Um, so no, we don't use that. We don't use that type of vacuums. We haven't even seen anybody using them in our industry, in our market. So
okay.
those I seen online where they do a lot of that stuff, but that stuff, those robots are too big and too bulky to get into those areas. Like
Mm,
they make more of a mess that you would have to clean up behind them versus if you were doing it yourself. So,
okay. I save my money then on that. Save my money.
yeah, you don't want to create customer complaints behind a robotic. You know,
Mm,
No, that'll save you a lot of headache.
okay. Okay. That's all the questions I have, man.
Okay. So
Man.
where you go? So are you still active? Are you still active with Jan Pro, or you just got to get started over again?
Yeah, I'm still active.
Okay. Okay.
Man.
Do you have any accounts?
Nope. No, I gotta sit down with the operations manager and you gotta give me my business cards and everything, and we gonna go for there.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, man. Get started, man, and keep in touch. Let me know how everything's going.
Okay, okay, man. I will do, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And if you need anything, man, I'm just an email away.
Okay, I appreciate that, man.
No
I
problem.
want to give a shout out to this lady too. She from here. She worked through Gen Pro. Her name Marinette Fields. So that was the
Marinette.
first lady. Is she helped me? She let me walk her contract with her and clean with her. And I think she was the highest paid earner here
Okay.
in Detroit.
Okay.
So Marinette, if you
Marinette.
watching this, I didn't forget about you.
Marinette Fields. Shout out to Marinette Fields out of
Yeah, shout
Detroit.
out to Marinette, man.
Hey,
But
hey, when you talk to her, tell her to plug in and reach out to me as well. I like to bring her on as well to get her expertise, you know.
okay.
And that way, they can hear from successful business owners as well, not just me.
Mm,
I wanna be able to sit down and interview uh people that have seen success with Jan Pro, and not just hear from me, you know.
mm,
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Miss Marinette. Like I said, hey, you already got somebody like that in your corner, man. Lean on them as well too. Pick their brain as much as you can.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
No problem, Tyree. Like I said, if you need me, I'm just an email away, brother.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a bug you, man. I'm a bug
Yes,
you.
sir.
Any question I get.
Yes, sir. Okay. All
I
right. Well, you have a
appreciate it.
great day. You have a great day, man. And like I said, man, let me know when you start actually picking up contracts.
Okay, we'll do, man.
All right. All right. You have a great day, brother.
You too. Take it easy.